Going with that. So I can hear you now. Hello, everyone. It's Todd Schrock with the Blue Jackets Communications Department. Can everyone hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Yep.
All right, we'll be starting here momentarily. Thanks for joining us today.
Yo.
Todd, can you hear me? Todd, can you hear me?
Interesting time. Test 1, 2, 3.
I got you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We good to go?
Ready?
Good. Yeah, Todd.
Okay, everyone. Thanks again for joining us today. If you got a question for Jarmo, we will please raise your hand. And we will start with Aaron Portzline. Go ahead, Porty.
Thank you, Todd. Good day, Jarmo. Jarmo, how meaningful is this after some of the difficult situations with the players and losing players? How meaningful is it for you to have Boone Jenner give up 4 years of UFA, Werenski give up 5 years of UFA, and really commit to the program here in Columbus? Those are your 2 recent contracts. How important is that for you to have players commit like that?
It's really important, but we've been saying all along that this perception that seems to be out there that people don't want to stay is not right. And we've had a lot of players in the past commit to long-term contracts here, and now we've had two of our core, heart and soul type of players commit to long-term with us and showing the commitment to Columbus, the city of Columbus, Ohio, and the Blue Jackets. And we couldn't be more thrilled.
And how quickly did this come together with Zach and his new agent? Is this something you've been at for a while, or did it come together pretty quickly?
Obviously, we've expressed interest in locking Zach long-term for a while now. And then once things start moving, they usually move pretty fast. And it was a pretty busy day yesterday to get this done before we all went to bed. But couldn't be happier. And I talked to Zach yesterday after the contract was signed, and he was thrilled. I was pumped, and now we're moving forward.
And this is a contract that screams number one defenseman, which he's been close to that here for you before. I think Seth has probably have been the lead dog. How comfortable are you with Zach Werenski ascending to that clear number one job on the back end for you? And how much more do you think is still there with his game?
I'm very, very comfortable. I think Zach Werenski's shown over his whole career that he's among the elite defensemen in the league. And, he's a clear number one for us now. He can keep growing in that role. He's still young, keeps getting better. And I just want to go back a little bit with Zach. He's done everything right with us ever since he joined our organization. The first year when he came out and he went to Cleveland before signing his NHL contract and won the championship there, didn't demand to sign an NHL deal right away, burn a year, get his signing bonus money, and just be comfortable throughout the summer. He did things right, and he's done it right from the start. He's played with a broken face, through injuries, competed hard every night. Last year he played with an injury that he was basically playing with one leg before we kind of were out of the playoffs, and then he decided to have the surgery. I couldn't have more respect for a guy like that has always given us all he's got and keeps improving. And he's a leader. He's done everything right, and he keeps doing everything right. And we value him as a franchise defenseman.
Thanks, Jarmo.
Next, we'll go to Brian Hedger. Go ahead, Hedge.
Hey, Jarmo, I think when this deal was announced and people started, kind of looking at it and the numbers started coming out, I think some people thought, well, Zach Werenski got the money that they were hoping to give Seth Jones. I'm wondering, did you, in the master plan, when you looked at this offseason, was the plan to keep both of them initially? I mean, was there that ability if Seth had wanted to stay to give them both big contracts?
Well, I don't think we need to talk about that anymore. Seth has moved on, and Zach's here now for at least 7 more years, and as I mentioned, as our franchise defenseman, and they were good together. And Zach will be really good. Whoever he's paired up with, he's always shown us that, even when they haven't been together or they've been separated because of the injury or whatnot. But Zach's going to be a huge part of us growing here into a Stanley Cup contender.
Thank you.
And next, we'll go to Dave Metzold. Go ahead, Metzi.
Thanks, Todd. Good afternoon, Jarmo. You've had some defections here and defections of guys who've been leaders on this club. I wonder if you could just assess Zach's growth as a leader and maybe what you see in terms of his continuing to grow as a leader of this hockey club.
Well, he's done it the right way. He's led by example and played well. The more pressure in the situation, the better he's played. And that's one sign of a true leader for me. When we've gone through some playoff battles and somebody had to step up to the occasion, Zach's always been the guy whose stick doesn't shake, so to speak. And he's been at his best in those pressure situations. And I think that's what being a leader is all about. And as I've said before, he can grow on to another level. He's only 24 years old. So we expect big things from Zach Werenski. I know he does himself too. And, in that season that was shortened with COVID, he had 20 goals already. And and who knows where he would have gotten if we had the full season. He's got tremendous potential. He's already there, but it still has a lot of room for growth, and he will definitely be one of our leaders that will also take a bigger role in the locker room now.
Thank you.
And next we'll go back to Aaron Portzline. Go ahead, Porty.
Yeah, hey Yarmo, that the blue line here for so many years was the big strength of this team, and there have been this offseason pretty dramatic changes. Just an overall comment from you, if you would, about what that blue line looks like now, how young you've gotten. Back then, Werenski's one of the older players back there now, and what it can look like in terms of its ability to help you guys play the way you want to play.
Well, the one thing I always say is that the best defense is when you have the puck. And I think puck's coming out of our zone well next year with the additions that we have made this off season with Jake Bean, Adam Boquist in particular. They're good puck movers. They're mobile players that can come out of the zone by skating or passing the puck, making a quick transition play. And that also leads to more offense. Of course, there's the defending part, and we have a whole new coaching staff on that side, and we're going to play hard. That's how we want our team to always play hard, compete, and battle, and we still have some big bodies back there. With Zach is an offensive guy, but he's a big man. He can defend well. He's strong. He's strong in battles, and Vladi Gavrikov is a big man. Andrew Peak's grown into an NHL player. He's 6'3". Right? So we got a lot of different elements that can make our defense good and fast. But we're going to grow here. That's what we're going to do is grow as a group and build it the right way to become a Stanley Cup contender again. And there's no shortcuts, but the hard work's the main ingredient there. And I know Brad Larson's been hands on deck at work every single day, being in contact with our players on what to expect when we get to training camp. And it's going to be a hard one. It's going to be a hard working group that competes hard, and it's going to be all five on the ice. It's not going to be just the defenseman. The way you defend these days is the whole 5-man unit. That's the way you create offense as well. So when we got two really good goaltenders here, and we're just going to keep moving north.
Jarmo, are you still in the market for a right side physical defenseman? I know some guys have signed off the board. Are you still looking?
Well, I always say this, that every day we come here looking to make our team better and improve. So we're going to keep doing that, but we're going to do it the right way. We're going to add pieces that we see as a player that can make us stronger in the short term, but also in the long term. So we'll see what the future brings on that.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go back to Brian Hedger. Go ahead, Hedge.
Yeah, hey Jarmo. Zach is obviously a guy who grew up in Southeast Michigan, outside Detroit. Grew up a Red Wings fan, and there was a lot of speculation that people thought maybe he might want to go back there, and he played at Michigan. What does it say to you that he was willing to turn down the opportunity to do that right away and stay here long term and be with Columbus and kind of dispel some of that speculation?
Well, first of all, he was 2 years away from being an unrestricted free agent. And I think that's a better question for Zach, but I couldn't be more thrilled.
I have one more, obviously.
Go ahead, Hedge, sorry.
Yep, sorry about that. Just kind of building on what Porty asked right away is, you guys are going to try and sell a plan here, obviously, or put together a plan, I guess is a better way to say it. How much easier is it to talk to maybe other players down the line or the guys that you have when you got a Zach Werenski who's on board and you got Boone Jenner who's on board and all these guys who are saying, yeah, we're buying into this plan?
Yeah, it's a big part of it. Players always talk amongst each other, and if you're trying to attract free agents, they're going to look at your roster, what the opportunity may be, but also who they're going to play with. And when you have an elite defenseman like Zach Werenski, it's going to help on the forward side and D side. I think there are many elite defensemen in the NHL who'd love to play with Zach Werenski. There are many forwards who would love to get that pass out of the zone or transition pass or in the offensive zone, the vision and hockey sense that Zach's shown, and the offensive side of things he's shown. Many forwards would love to be in the same 5-man unit with him, so it's definitely helpful. And Boone's just a character guy. He's a leader. He's great to be around. All the boys love him, and he's a great example every day of how we go about our business, how we do our work.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Mitch Stacy at AP. Go ahead, Mitch.
Hey, Jarmo. Many of the guys who have been familiar faces the last few years have moved on. And just wondering your thoughts on how the signings of Boone and Zach, might be able to rebuild a little bit of that goodwill with the fans who might be wondering, what's going on here and don't understand your plan.
Well, again, I would say this. We've had some really good success with the group that we had here, the core pieces that we had here. We got into the playoffs 4 times in a row and got a little bit of playoff success as well. But we haven't had any parades here, so we had to make changes. Sometimes they're hard because it's emotional to make those decisions to depart players that have been an important part of your plan here. But if you want to get to the ultimate goal, you're going to have to make changes sometimes that are hard, and that's what we've done. So we have a plan. We're going to build it the right way and get back into the playoffs and be a Stanley Cup contender and ultimately win it.
Great. Do we have any more questions for Jarmo? No, doesn't look like it. Thank you, Jarmo.
Thank you.
We'll be having Zach Werenski joining us here momentarily. Hey, Z, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for popping on today, representing the 614. I see.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. If you have a question for Zach, please raise your hand, and we will start with Aaron Portzline. Go ahead, Porty.
Thank you, Todd. Hey, Zach, congratulations on the deal.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So much has changed here. I don't need to tell you, but of course, lately your playing partner for so long, Seth Jones, departed. What compelled you to want to stay here long term, and what does it say that you're willing to sign for 6 more years, seven now, into the future with this franchise?
Yeah, I mean, well, first and foremost, I love Columbus. It's kind of where I grew up. Like I joined the league at 19. I'm 24 now. Spent my whole career here, and it's been nothing but good to me and my family. And it's a place that I've always enjoyed. So, obviously, I'm extremely happy to be there for 7 more years. In terms of the changes, obviously that stuff happens. We've seen it, time and time again in Columbus, and guys come and go, and it's part of the business. But after seeing what they did last week with the draft and players we got and the direction this team's headed, talking with Larson, Voracek, Booner, just talking with the guys, I fully believe in it, and I believe in the plan, and I think this thing's headed in the right direction.
Zach, how excited are you? Because I think people regard you as a number 1 defenseman, but it's probably fair to say that Seth was the lead dog while you were here. I don't know if you agree with that. Forgive me if you don't, but how excited are you to ascend to a clear-cut number 1 guy, right? I think you can assume heavier minutes are coming your way. You're one of the most experienced guys back there, if not the most experienced. This is a bit of an elevation of roles for you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, me and Seth, ever since I joined the league, played together. And he's one of my best friends, and obviously I wish him nothing but the best in Chicago. And but yeah, no, I am ready. I'm ready to be a true number one and show everyone what I can do without him. I feel like every time I was brought up, it was always with him, and and maybe a little bit, vice versa. But yeah, I'm just really excited to have this opportunity. I'm not thinking too much about it. Obviously, I just want to go out there and play my game. But yeah, no, I'm really excited for it, and hopefully I can get this team back to the playoffs.
Z, how different do you think that room's going to be this fall when you walk back in there without Foligno, Jones, Savard, so many of the guys that have been the prominent voices for so long now?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a little bit different, but I think that's where it kind of falls, on me, Booner, Bjorky, Elvis, Gavi, guys that have been there. Voracek's coming back. We have a strong group in there. We have a strong core still, and like I said, I fully believe in it, and I think it's time now for us to take steps forward and be more of leaders, and maybe not even be more vocal. Like, I'm not the most vocal guy, but just how we play, how we work, how we attack each day, and I think we can get this thing going in the right direction pretty fast.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Dave Metzold. Go ahead, Metzi.
Thanks, Todd, and congrats, Z, on the new deal. You kind of led me right into this on leadership. How comfortable do you feel now taking that next step with some of those departures, some of those voices gone, and you're going to have to fill a little bit of that void?
Yeah, I feel really comfortable. Obviously, like I said, I'm not the most vocal guy in the room. I'm not someone that's going to come in and give some big pump up speech, but I think it's just how I play and going out there and leading by example every day in practice, making sure our habits are good, our work ethic's up, our tempo's high. Just being a leader that way. There's a million different ways guys lead. Everyone does it differently, and for me personally, it's just going out there and doing it by example and doing it how I play. So I'm excited for that.
You've also been around as this team has gone through a myriad of different situations, and you've seen how guys like Nick and Seth and Savvy have helped deal with those situations in the room. What have you learned from that situation, and how do you think that'll help you going forward?
Yeah, I think kind of just what I touched on, how Foligno would address certain situations is different from Savvy, is different from Seth, and having all those guys and all those leaders and guys in your room, you just kind of pick up on things and learn how they did it, and what to do, what not to do. So yeah, no, I was very fortunate for my first 5 years to have those guys in the room and be able to learn from them and see how they do things. Obviously, they're great leaders, great players, and yeah, so I was very fortunate in order to, to help me be a leader now, hopefully, and I kind of learned from them, and hopefully it'll be good.
And the final question for me is, and again, you kind of touched on this with your very first statement. There has been this perception here about Columbus. How important was it for you to kind of make a different type of statement by signing for the term that you did and wanting to be here for as long as you will be?
Yeah, you know what, Matt? I don't really know, why Columbus gets the rep it does. To be honest, I love it here. I know there's a lot of guys in that room that love it in Columbus, and as much as it's about a statement or whatever for the city, I'm just happy personally that I get to be there and be a part of this and live in a great town and play in front of great fans. And like I said, it's been nothing but good to me, nothing but good to my family. I've had a ton of fun playing there, and I'm really excited to be there for 7 more years.
Thanks, man.
Next, we'll go to Mitch Stacy at AP. Go ahead, Mitch. Go ahead, Mitch.
Hey, Zach, I'm here. I asked Jarmo the same question, but with all these familiar faces leaving, how important do you think it was for the team to, lock up you and Boone especially, to maybe rebuild some of that goodwill with the fans who, see their heroes, moving on down the road?
Yeah, I kind of just touched on it a little bit, but obviously everyone has their own choices to make with their careers, and so obviously no hard feelings when guys decide to leave. It's part of the business. It happens everywhere. but having Booner here, me now, Bjorky's locked up pretty long term as well. I think it's awesome. I think our core is still strong. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve, like we talked about with new leaders and things like that. But no, I think it's awesome for Columbus. I think it's awesome for the fans. And just with talking with Booner and Bjorky, talking to Elvis the other day, Voracek, everyone's just so excited to get this thing going and get to work in September.
Next, we'll go to Brian Hedger. Go ahead, Hedge.
Hey, Zach, congrats. You've mentioned a couple of times now, talking to your teammates and things like that, and kind of assessing, the plan here. Is it fair to say that, a week ago before the draft that maybe your mind wasn't made up at that point?
Yeah, for sure. I really wasn't sure what was going to happen, and that's why I just wanted to sit back and wait and see what happened. Obviously, I liked their first pick, the Michigan kid, Kent Johnson, and then kept watching and kept hearing good things, saw the trades, the players they brought in, and I saw the plan moving the right way, and I wanted to be a part of it. I'm just really excited, and I fully believe in it.
And the only other thing I have for you is the past couple of years, and I'm sure you've heard it as well. But there's been a lot of speculation about maybe you might want to go back to Detroit and play for the Red Wings. The team that you grew up cheering for. Eventually, that wouldn't be for 2 years. But signing a deal here that keeps you here 7 more years, I mean, that wouldn't probably be until your 30s at this point. Was that a consideration in your mind when you looked at this for the long term? And if so, was that tough to turn down, potentially?
No. I mean, I think like when you first join the league, right? Like it's always cool to play your hometown team because all your friends are there, your family's there. For me, growing up a Red Wings fan, watching all those playoff teams, obviously it's a lot of fun whenever I come home or get to play the Wings. But it didn't even cross my mind, to be honest. This is where I want to be. I'm happy in Columbus. Like I said, it's been so good to me. Why would I want to leave? There's no reason for me to want to leave. And like I said, it's close to home. My parents can come down whenever. My brother, friends can come. And like I said, I just love it in Columbus, and Detroit never really crossed my mind.
You can probably dispel, you and Kent can both in the future can maybe dispel that whole thing about how Wolverines might not like it in Columbus.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's an awesome place. So I think being a Michigan guy and having Ohio State and Columbus is actually awesome because it's a town that appreciates the rivalry. So I love it.
Thanks, Zach.
Next, we'll go to Greg Wyshynski at ESPN. Go ahead, Wish.
Hey, thanks a lot. Hey, Zach, congrats, man. I was wondering, just to quickly clarify, you said before around the draft you weren't sure what was going to happen. Can you elaborate what you meant by that?
More so just with the plan. Like I knew guys were going to get traded. I wasn't sure who they were going to bring in. It's just one of those unknown type things. I wasn't sure going into the offseason who the coach would be. I hired Lars, who obviously I have a great relationship with, and then going towards the draft and with Seth and all those rumors swirling around. I just kind of wanted to see what happened and see the plan fully. And I'm all in on it. So, yeah.
Cool. And the other thing I want to ask you is there's been a lot of money thrown at defensemen in the last couple of weeks here. How cognizant of that were you? How much were you watching Seth, Dougie, Makar, Heiskanen, and all those deals when it pertains to the money that you might get?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think everyone kind of keeps an eye on it. Obviously as a defenseman, other D affects what you sign for. I was looking at it. I think it's awesome. Obviously it's whenever, guys can get paid and stuff like that, it's great. But, like I said, I just fully believe in this plan and fully believe in Jarmo and JD that we're going to steer this thing in the right direction, and just happy to be a part of it.
Thank
you. Next, we'll go to Stuart Mason. Go ahead, Stu.
Hey, Zach, congratulations. Glad you're staying around.
Thank you very much.
I wanted to ask you your thoughts on the new players coming in. That's got to be invigorating.
Yeah, it's awesome. It seems like we have a lot of energy. They're excited to get to Columbus. I've been chatting with Voracek quite a bit. He seems like a great guy. I'm excited to meet him. I was talking with Boquist and Bean, and it seems like they're just really excited to get this opportunity to come play in Columbus, and it's going to be a lot of fun in a few weeks here.
Next, we'll go to Aaron Portzline. Go ahead, Porty.
Thanks, Todd. Hey, so Z, just to make sure I'm clear, did you approach them after you saw what happened with Jones's trade, after the Voracek trade, and said, "Hey, I'm ready to talk if you guys want to talk," or were there talks that weren't really going anywhere until you saw what happened? You know what I'm saying? Did it compel you, or did it just start it, or did it just compel you to pick up from talks that were already underway?
I'm not really sure, to be honest. I'm sure my agent and them were talking a little bit, and then he called me and after the draft and the trades and everything, and kind of asked what I was thinking. I had a good conversation with Lars, and I was just getting that exciting feeling again. And like I said, I love Columbus, and it's a place I want to be. And after just seeing the plan and the things they did at the draft and that whole week, I was fully on board. I love the players they brought in, the moves they made. So yeah, no, I think it picked up more so after the draft, but I'm sure they might have been talking before. I'm not really sure.
And I know you're both Michigan guys. How well do you know Kent Johnson, and how well do you know his game?
I know him just a little bit. I've met him a few times around the rink. I don't know him too well, but I watch a lot of Michigan hockey whenever I can. So
Sure.
They're very familiar with his game. I think it's an awesome pick. Outside of him being a Michigan guy, just the excitement level he brings to the game, and it feels like every time he has the puck, he's gonna get you out of your seat or do something exciting, and just his ability to make those exciting plays and execute on them is pretty incredible. So I think he's gonna be a great player for us in the future.
Thanks, man.
And next, we'll go back to Mitch Stacy. Go ahead, Mitch.
I'm good. Thank you.
Final.
Forgot to lower my hand.
And then we'll go to Brian Hedger. Go ahead, Hedge.
Hey, yeah, Zach. Going back to Boquist and Bean really quick. I mean, they bring in two more young defensemen. Obviously, you're young yourself. I think it's fair to say all three of you guys are kind of offensive minded, or have the ability to bring offense there. How excited are you to add those kind of guys to the back end, and what do you think you guys can do here offensively?
Yeah, I think it's great. Obviously we saw a lot of Chicago and Carolina this year with our division. Got to see these guys play a lot, and I think whenever you can add puck moving defensemen and offensive defensemen to a lineup, it's great. I think just getting out of your own zone, making tape passes, creating offense. I think these guys are going to be great additions for us, and I'm really excited to get them to Columbus and get the season rolling with them.
You were a guy who obviously when you came in here at 19, you got an opportunity right away and took advantage of it. There's been some guys here that I know management is pretty excited about the potential they have, but maybe they haven't gotten that opportunity yet, full time. How excited are you to see some of those guys now be able to kind of, step up and help lead this team with you?
Yeah, for sure. I think sometimes all the guys need is just an opportunity and, for their games to really flourish. So I'm really excited to see what they can bring. I think they're going to get great opportunities here in Columbus. Obviously not the coach, so I don't make those decisions, but just after talking with, Lars and management about these players, they're very excited. I'm very excited, and this thing's moving in the right direction.
Thanks.
And next we'll go back to Aaron Portzline. Go ahead, Porty.
Thanks, Todd. Hey, Z, I remember talking to you a few summers ago, and you talked about wanting to highlight one element of your game each summer and really get better at it, really focus on it. Is that still like an annual thing with you? And if so, what's the target this summer?
Yeah, it is. Like there's things I highlight every summer that I kind of just want to add to my game. Right now, I'm kind of starting to get into it a little bit. At first, with the surgery and injury and everything, I just wanted to get back on the ice, get everything feeling good, feel like myself again. But in terms of targeting something, I don't really want to talk about it right now.
Oh, nice. Must be substantial. How are you feeling health wise? Are you back to 100%?
Yeah, I'm back to 100%. It's awesome. Yeah, I feel great. Haven't even felt it all summer, knock on wood, but super happy with how surgery went and ready to go into the season fully healthy.
Great. Thanks.
We have any other questions for Zach? Porty, did you have one more? Or is your hand just still up?
Damon
All right.
Sherrock, I'm done.
That's a fine.
Add it to the jar. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for joining us today, Z. Congrats again, and thanks for jumping on with us for a few minutes.
Yep. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Zeke.